Good morning, everyone. This is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations. I deleted my first try, and so here we are on a second try at doing this Monday morning stitch talk. I am going to try to keep Mondays for anything stitching, but I do have some updates on the bathroom. Scott finished the grouting in there, so we just need to get the plumber back to install the faucets and the sink and the commode. Because Scott doesn't have the tools to do the PEX material, and he doesn't want to go and do the expense of doing the PEX tools for just the one bathroom. So there's that. I just gave up on that first one. I should have known. I've got to hardwire into my router on these lives anymore. I think I need a new computer, or I need to clean up or something. It's got issues. You saw the grouting? Yes, grouting was done. Hi, Janet Nash. Hi, Safia. So we'll have to hire a plumber in, so I got to save for that. And then I'll have a bathroom with a bathtub, so I can take a lovely bubble bath, which would be great. And some people are shower only. Some people do shower baths. Some people like baths only. Some people are grossed out by bathtubs. I just, whatever. I enjoy a good soak. I think it's good for your skin. So anyway, there's that. So that was done this weekend. Of course, if you were here yesterday with us on our walk, we did a video as we walked, and I have not watched it back to know if we were choppy or if anybody had any problems with us doing it. We have changed our phone service to where we're supposed to have more data, and we're supposed to have a hotspot options and that kind of thing. Yes, there are some people that are grossed out by baths. They say that you're steeping in your own juices, which that does make it sound gross, but whatever. So yes, the end is in sight on the bathroom. I do need to start and do the cross stitch of the sea turtle that I want to frame and put on the wall. Remember that chart? I had all that trouble because it got wet, and then New Craft Day was sweet, and they sent me a whole new chart so I have all the materials now so I could get started on that. And morning, Pam. But anyway, today's supposed to be talking about stitching. I've got one knitting project sitting here and a crochet project. So I'll start with the knitting. I had found, I don't think I have it handy right now. I'll find the link for it and put it in the description. But this is supposed to be a dish towel. And I've discovered something with knitting. It's something I need to do when I can just sit quietly or have nonsense playing. I can't do knitting in a group setting at all. I so mess up. So there are some messed up spots, and I know exactly what I was doing when it happened because I was trying to do craft and chat. And so finally I gave up. And ever since, I've been knitting by myself. I haven't made any more mistakes, knock on wood. So anyway, this is my dish towel so far. And somebody that's just looking at it might not be able to see my mistakes. But this row right here, where the little purl backs are in the wrong place. And then I messed up for some reason. I did a half a row incorrectly, like right here. So this row right here, I did it wrong over to here, and then I started doing it right again. I have no clue. But anyway, it's getting longer. The instructions said to do it 24 inches long. I only have this much thread left. So I'm currently at, let's see, just under 9 inches long. So I don't think I'm going to get to 24 inches. But Ruth said that what I could do is go as far as I can and then just add like a fabric topper to it where you put the that little triangle piece and then a loop so you can hook it over your oven door or a cabinet door handle or something by the sink. So I think I'm doing pretty good for, they said it's an easy knit. Well, yeah, if you're paying attention, because this one, um, every other row is knit 2, purl 2 across, and that's how you get this lovely ribbing look. But if you mess up, then you end up doing like this whole row was done wrong and this one over here. But I'm going to keep this one to show me and remind me to knit when I'm on my own. At least until I get more proficient, because apparently I can't do 2 things at once. I have also started a new one of those pot holders where you do it in the round and then you take it and you fold it like this, and where they meet here in the middle you stitch across, and it makes this really thick, dense hot pad, which I think is really cool. And I learned to do this from Mary Lou, but there are patterns out there. You start with a chain of 43, if I remember right, and then you single crochet on both sides of the chain with 3 single crochets in the first and the last chain at the ends of the row. So you just start with single crochet and then you put 3 here, then you single crochet up the other side of the chain and put 3 here. You can't start with 3 at the end because you need to work in the stitch you're coming out of. I hope that made sense. But these work up really pretty. If you change the color of your thread as you're going around, you'll end up with a stripe going one way on one side and another on the other side. It's really cool how it works up. But the actual pattern, after you do that single crochet on both sides of the chain, the beginning chain, then what you're going to do for the rest of it is you're just going to go into each of those stitches and you just keep working. You don't add any more at the ends. You just use the stitches you have in there. But you're not going to just single crochet. You're going to single crochet, back loop, front loop, back loop, front loop. And that's how you get this cool texture to it. It feels really cool in your hand too. So this is another quick, easy gift. You could make up 1 or 2 of these and maybe a couple dishcloths. I'm hoping I have enough thread in that to finish this. I think I do. So that's my knitting. I'm going to be starting a project that Lynn Yvonne's 2 is going to be a part of, and that's the cross stitch that's in the new Just Cross Stitch. And I think I shared that, but hang on just a sec. I got it right here in the hallway. There's a group of ladies that do cross stitch that are going to be working on this. So I actually have 2 cross stitch projects that I need to get started on. So I have all of this stuff I want to get started on, and I want to garden. So I'm going to garden in the early mornings, and then I'll come in where it's cool during the day. That's the thing about living in the South, is you have to get up early. Like I should be out in the yard right now because by 9 o'clock it'll be too hot to be outside. So anyway, this is the project. You start with this first corner, that's spring, summer, I think fall and winter. And I have the spring and the summer so far. So that'll go over there. And you do it by quadrants. So we're going to be starting that project shortly. And I did get my material in. I had to order this from Hirschner's because with Joann's going out of business, they didn't have any of the larger pieces, and I don't have any from thrifting. So I had to order this, and I'm a little concerned that I may need a magnifying light to do this project. Even with my glasses, this is going to be hard to see. Hi, Peg. Because it's 28 count. That's 28 stitches to an inch. So that's really small, but it'll make these look so pretty, these stitches. Hold the spring up because that's the one I'm going to start with. And I absolutely love it. There's mushrooms and a tiny little butterfly and a bumblebee. And that looks like a Luna moth in the middle, maybe. No, the Luna moth is over here. I don't know what kind of moth that is. Summer has the Luna moth. So this is a project I'm going to try to work along this summer. And I need to get my threads together. I have all the threads. I did have most of the threads, but I also had to order like 6 colors that I didn't have. So I have all of that. The next thing is the crochet frame I have. I don't think the slats are wide enough for this material. So I may have to order I wish I could order just the bars. I'm going to look and see if I can order just the width bars because I think I need a couple bars that this feeds into that are at least over 24 inches because this is a 20 by 20. No, it needs to be, let me look at this. So it'll be in there by the 20-inch side, not the 28-inch side, which I think this is 20 inches right here. But I don't think my little frame opens this big. And I really don't want to put creases in it. So I need to look for something that I can put this on. I need to look at frames, I guess. I might do that after I sign off here. I do have some projects I want to do out in the yard, but I'm getting sidetracked with talking about what I'm going to stitch. Hey, Deb. So people have been asking about Project Dress-A Girl. When am I going to get started? Well, I need to get that started as well. So you might see less art from me over the summer and a whole lot more crocheting, knitting, and stitching and sewing over the summer. So if you're new to my channel, my hobbies rotate. That's why my channel is not just quilting. It's not just crochet. It's not just that. I am not a single hobby person. I just do it all. And Scott says I'm a Jane of all trades because if I take an interest in it, I just do it. And it's like I have sections of the year that some things work better. Heavy crocheting and heavy knitting stuff is kind of really winter hobby. So the stitching that I can do in the air conditioning, that's a small project that I don't have to have on my lap, that's the way to go. But I also want to work on Project Dress-A Girl. So I'm going to just show the patterns that I have that work for Project Dress-A Girl because there are no buttons, there are no zippers, there's no Velcro. None of that because that's one of the requirements. Absolutely no fasteners because these girls live in impoverished areas where they might not have access to a new button. They might not have access to a new zipper. They might not even have a needle and thread to do the repairs that fasteners sometimes take. So this is the one I have made since the beginning. And I think this is my 5th year doing Project Dress-A Girl. But this is an old pattern. It's McCall's 2004. And this is the little dress pattern that's absolutely perfect for Project Dress-A Girl. It's easy to turn into a reversible dress. It has 2 different styles of pockets. You can add lace and rickrack to fancy it up so easily. You see buttons on here, but they are decorative only. And those you can put on the dresses. You can do decorative treatments, but you don't want a working fastener. The material must be 100% cotton, something that's durable. You don't want to recycle sheets with this because most sheets contain some plastic, polyester, and they don't want that. So if you make pillowcase dresses, they ask that you make it out of fabric. So not a pillowcase, because the pillowcases are not the right type of fabric. Okay. So this is the one I normally use. I have also used this one, which is Butter 3331. Again, oops, this one I actually got thrifting. See the green sticker? This one actually has a cute little ruffle, which I've done before. So the only thing is you'll see how short these little dresses are. They ask that if it shows that it's going to be above the knee, could you please make it a little bit longer? Like this one falls right at the knee. This one's fine. This one ends up falling a little shorter. The only way this is acceptable is if you include some kind of matching short that they could wear under it. But they really want just the dresses. Now, this one doesn't show having pockets, and pockets is also one of the requirements. It must have pockets in some form, either patch pockets, which attach to the front of the dresses, or inseam side pockets. This one doesn't have any pockets. So what I did is I took the pockets off this dress and figured out where they should lay on this dress by finding the center of the dress. Like you can look at this pattern and you can see where the center of the dress is. And on the pattern pieces, it shows marks where the pockets are. Just measure from the center on this, and as far down as it is on this one, measure it on this pattern and just put a mark where that the corner toward the center of the dress needs to be of the pocket. And then you can just angle it the same way it's on here, or if it's straight across. It's really easy to add a patch pocket. Now, I think this next one is the one I'm going to use because it does not require any interfacing. This one has a facing on it that requires you to use interfacing, and I'm trying to cut down the steps this year so that I can make more dresses quicker. So I'm going to use this dress pattern, Simplicity 9020. And it's an older pattern as well. Its copyright is 1994. This makes an adorable dress. And you can color block it like you see on this little girl's dress. You can do that. It's really easy to turn this one into a reversible dress because the top is already double-sided. So it's already lined. You just would have to cut a second skirt out to go underneath here. What I like about this one is the skirt fits straight in. You don't have to bother with gathering or anything. So if you can get your hands on this pattern, it's a really cute, quick pattern to do. And you'll notice the pink lines on here that I put that on there because I wanted to be able to look in my Trello account on my phone where I have all of my sewing patterns stored. And the pink denotes this would work for Project Dress a Girl. So that's why there's a pink line on it. And this lady's name is there because I thrifted this pattern as well. This is a thrifted pattern. So this is the pattern for this year. And I was just going to go through the fabrics that I have so far. I have a paper grocery sack sitting next to me full of fabrics. I'm very thankful I went earlier in the year and bought a bunch of fabrics before Joann's announced they were closing. So I have a lot of material already on hand to get started. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Melanie. I think I got everybody else. So I'm just going to quickly go through these. Some pieces I have a pocket fabric to go with it. So this one is the green butterflies, and I have a tie-dye greenish blue to go with it. So that'll be for the pockets. And again, on this one, it doesn't show pockets, but I'll just take the pockets off my original go-to pattern and just add them to this little dress. I could also put inseam pockets, but I don't want to mess with inseam pockets. So that was fabric one. And then I have it in yellow with tie-dye pockets. Again, this is a batik. Birds are singing their hearts out this morning. This one, I don't have a pocket material to go with it, so I'll have to shop my stash, but it's just a green with beautiful flowers on it. And I am trying to keep the prints to a little bit smaller size because these are little girls. I think I made a dress with this last year, this kind of aqua with daisies. And again, that's one I need to shop my stash for some pockets. So I guess that's something I need to do. I picked up this dark, what is this called? Something skies. Can't remember the name of it for nothing. It's that time of year again. And you know, I like to get going. This one I have in 2 pieces. Not sure if it's enough to do that dress, but if it turns out it's not, I'll set it aside and see how my timing is as far as maybe using a different pattern for this one. But I just thought this was really pretty. It's showing up a little bit darker than it actually is. This is just a remnant piece that I thought I could do some color blocking with. And I was looking back through to see if maybe it's one I could. Let me look at something real quick. I mean, it doesn't really go, but I could use the butterflies as pockets on the green. I could. But it does really kind of go with. Let's see how it looks. I could put butterfly pockets on the daisies. I don't know. I'll have to play with that some. But I do have some remnants in here that I got just because they were remnants. Here's some ladybugs. This is, again, another remnant that I maybe could make pockets with. And then I do have enough of the butterflies to make a full-on dress with. And the thing about that is the ladybugs could actually be used as pockets because the same green is in the butterfly fabric. It's all about playing around with your colors to see what you end up with. This one I'm hoping is not a licensed fabric as far as being cartoonish or something from a film, a sports team, cartoons. You can't use those either. They don't want any of those. But I couldn't resist this fabric. And if I can't use it for Project Dress a Girl, I'll see if somebody wants a dress made out of this. It's just really pretty. It's got unicorns on it. Isn't it gorgeous? And wildlife around. And I just thought it would make a beautiful little girl's dress. And this one's got strawberries. And then I've got some more ladybugs. This one has I don't know if you can tell, but the silver on it is kind of glittery. Hi, Karen. These I think I got because I thought I could do some color blocking with. So here's the bumblebees and then this yellow. Some of these are kind of small pieces because they are remnants. This one just was pretty. I have pre-washed all of this fabric, and there are actually some red flowers on there too that you can hardly see. See, there you go. When I bring my fabrics in, I serge the edges and throw them in the washing machine with a couple color catchers or color grabbers, or there's, I think Tide puts one out now. I don't care for it too much. It's a really stiff color grabber, and it just doesn't absorb as well as the actual one that's called color grabber, I think. So yeah, so this has all been pre-washed, and I've put those in, and what they do, the color grabbers, is they grab the loose dye that's in the wash so it doesn't get on any of the other fabrics. So these have already had a wash that removed all the finishing oils, all the loose dyes, and that type of thing. Now, when I do finish the dresses every year, I do go ahead, because I have cats, and I do throw them through the wash again with more color grabbers, because I want, after all that work, I don't want color to run. And then I'll iron them and pack them up and send them to Madi up in Maryland. So there's some watermelon slices. I've got 2 pieces of this here, blue with strawberries. So I really only have the 2 fabrics that have matching pocket fabrics so far. And we are at the bottom of our bag. So this is enough to get me started. And I might do a quick count to tell you how many dresses this means. Some dolphins. And then the last one, I could not resist, and it made me think of Janet Nash. So Janet, after I get the dress cut out, I might send you a couple pieces of this, because it's absolutely right up your alley. Look, it's flamingos in rainbows. So I'm going to put them back in, and we'll count them as we go. You don't have a serger? You do as... Yeah, the reason I do the serging is twofold. I don't want it to ravel in the wash and create a tangled mess. And then 2 is, I know once it comes out the wash and it goes in my stash, I know because it has the serged edge that I've already washed it. So, all right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to set that one aside. 5, 6, there's 7, there's 8. This might not be a full 8. Let's hold that aside. We'll call this one 8, the 2 pieces of butterfly fabric. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. These could be 16, 17, but what I would need to do is shop my stash and see if I've got fabrics that would go with them, because this is just a small piece. If it matched some of the other fabric in color, I could use it as pockets, but it is just a remnant. It's not even a half a yard. So that'll get set aside for pockets, but 15 dresses is a good start. I do have until the end of September, and most of sewing is the cutting out. The actual physical sewing, whether it's quilting or if it's sewing garments or any kind of sewing, what takes you the most time is getting the fit and cutting the stuff out. All of that takes the most time. What I generally do is I'll iron my fabrics real well. If the yardage is the same, I'll stack one on top of the other, and I will cut 2 dresses out at once. That saves me a lot of time. So that is what I have for you guys this morning. So we're going to get Project Dress a Girl going, and I've got knitting and crocheting and cross stitch projects. So it's like the stitching is about to take over. So I need to get out and get started on this gardening project I want to get working on as well. I've got things in the back of the truck that I need to get out of the back of the truck. It's 2 bags of the cheapest topsoil type stuff I could get, and 2 bags of the cow that you get at Lowe's. And what I do is I open the bags, one of the topsoil, one of the magic cow or whatever it's called, and I mix them in my wagon with a shovel, with my gloves on, of course. And then I'll use it to beef up an area. Like I've planted impatiens and a couple petunias out front, and I need to go out and water them before it gets hot. So that needs to be the next thing I do. And then Monday is my house cleaning, laundry type thing, but I also work it around watching Janet Nash and my Monday stitch hour where we get together and stitch, which I will work on my crochet project, but not my knit project, because there's too many mistakes when I'm trying to knit and chat. I can't knit and chat. Knitting needs to be one of those where I have that mindless stuff on the computer. Like I've been watching the show Bull, and I'm down to almost the last season. So yay. And there's Vicky. But as I said, with this dish towel I'm knitting, I'm leaving the mistakes because they're mine, and the dish towel is going to be mine. But I have an idea that this would make a really awesome Christmas gift for the family members I'm closest to. And they're the only ones worth me taking the time to do this. Because this works up relatively quickly, but until my mind got itself wrapped around the importance of making sure I was doing that every other row where you do 2 knit, 2 purl across, I could stop myself when I was on that, because you learn that the back looks different than the front too. Vicky taught me that. So anyhow, I'm going to let you guys go. I really am. I need to go water my flowers out front because it's not raining here, and I don't want to lose them, since I just planted them. And you guys, plants are blooming expensive. And Lowe's, hello Lowe's, I'm going to bitch about this one more time. They had impatiens in an 8-celled tray. Nothing else, just impatiens. And I wanted more petunias. I was looking for all this stuff in the 6 to 8 cell, trays that $4. But no, the petunias are in this big thing, and there's only 2 plants in there for $6. So, oh, that's fabulous, Peg. Yay, the house is sold. That went quick. Congratulations. That's awesome. It did make me feel impatient. And then I was looking at the label on the impatience, because there was something niggling in the back of my head, and it says shade. And I'm like, well, blooming heck, I've already planted about half of these in where they're going to get lots of sun. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go water them and pretend they're going to be beautiful. And I'll take a picture of the petunia that I bought, that I got just 2 plants for $6. And because If I could get a tray of those, I'd plant them everywhere, and you'll see why, but I'll post a picture. All right, so I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging with me. Bye.